Ielts listening test. You now have 1 minute to study the questions and then we'll begin the test.
Section 1.
Hi, London Premier Tours. How can I help?
Hi, I'm coming to London with my family and we would like to see the city. We just wanted some information on the best way to do this.
Okay, I'll see if I can help. Firstly, when are you coming and for how long?
Let me see. We are leaving the US at the end of June. We are going to stay with friends in Oxford for a week, so we will arrive in London around the 10th of July. It will just be for a few days as we fly to Paris on the 13th of July.
And how many people?
I'm coming with my sister and our parents.
And do you know what kind of things you want to see when you are here? Is there anything in particular?
Not really. We just want to see the main sights. You know, historical places, I guess. The places that London is famous for.
Well, as you only have a short amount of time, the best way to do that is probably through a bus tour. The tour costs £29 for adults and £14 for children for the day.
What time does it start?
Well, basically, the ticket is valid for the whole day. The first bus is at 7 a.m., but buses depart every 20 minutes throughout the day up until 4 p.m. Sorry, I mean 6 p.m. It's summer now, so the buses run later. So you can start and finish whenever you want during those times.
So do you have to stay on the Penier bus the whole time?
No, it is a hop-on, hop-off service, so you can get off at whichever stop you like. You can then stay there as long as you like and then get back on another bus when it arrives.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. What sights do you see on the tour then?
That depends on which route you choose. There are 3 routes and we call them the red, yellow and blue routes. There are many attractions, but the main attractions on the red route are St. Paul's Cathedral, the London Eye and Buckingham Palace.
I am not too worried about the cathedral, but I know my parents would enjoy the London Eye, so we had better see that. What about the other routes?
The most famous places on the yellow route are Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament.
Ah, both of those would be interesting to see. And the blue route?
Harrods and Hyde Park are on that route.
I would like to see Harrods, but I don't think we'll have time for shopping, and I don't know Hyde Park, so we will not go on that route. So we will probably choose the red or yellow. What do we have to do about booking?
If you want to book, you can do that with one of our customer service operators on the phone, or otherwise you can go to our website and book. Some people just arrive on the day and buy a ticket on the bus, but if it's full, you may not be able to get a seat.
Probably best if we book in advance then. So I will do it on the internet in a few weeks when we know exactly what dates we will be there.
Okay, well, it can get very busy in the summer over the 3 months of June to August, so it's probably best to book at least a week before you come. But you still have about 6 weeks before you leave, so you have plenty of time to think about it.
Okay, thanks. You have been a great help.
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Section 2. Pandas. Okay, I'm here today to talk to you all about the panda. It is a species of bear that is under a great threat from the damage that humans are doing to the places where they live. The panda is a peaceful animal that has a black and white coat and is loved around the world. It is a distinctive symbol of China, and the panda has also been the logo of the WWF, that is the World Wildlife Fund for Nature, since it was set up in 1961. It is a member of the bear family. They live mainly in bamboo forests high in the mountains of western China. A panda's daily menu consists almost entirely of the leaves, stems, and shoots of various bamboo plants. Bamboo contains very little nutritional value, so pandas must eat 12 to 38 kilograms every day to meet their energy needs. Newborn pandas are about the size of a stick of butter, so that is really small. But they can grow to 330 pounds as adults. They are dependent on their mothers for the first few months of their lives. Panda cubs start to climb trees when they are only 6 months old, and as adults, the pandas make excellent climbers despite their size and weight. A panda's average life in the wild is 14 to 20 years, but a panda can live up to 30 years when they are looked after in places such as zoos. So, why do we worry about pandas so much? Why are they important? Well, pandas play a very important role in the bamboo forests where they live by spreading seeds which help plants and trees to grow. In the Ielts basin where pandas live, the forests are full of a vast variety of amazing wildlife, such as dwarf blue sheep, multicolored pheasants, and other species that are in danger of extinction, including the golden monkey. Also, pandas bring huge economic benefits to local communities through ecotourism. Pandas have two main threats. The first is hunting, which is a constant concern. Poaching or killing the animals for their fur has declined due to strict laws and greater public awareness of the panda's protected status. But hunters seeking other animals in panda habitats continue to kill pandas accidentally. They are also threatened by habitat loss. In other words, the loss of the home where they live. China's Yangtze Basin region is where the panda's main home is. But this area is an important economic region for this booming country. So, roads and railroads are being built, and these are increasingly destroying the forest. This means that panda populations get separated, and so they can't find a partner to mate with and have babies. So, what is being done to protect the panda? The Chinese government has established more than 50 panda reserves. Reserves are places in the wild where animals are protected. However, only around 61% of the country's panda population is protected by these reserves. The WWF is also playing a big part in protecting the panda. The idea for the WWF logo came from Chi-Chi, a giant panda that had arrived at London Zoo in 1961, the same year the WWF was created. The people who set up the World Wildlife Fund were aware of the need for a strong symbol that everybody around the world would recognize. They agreed that the big, furry animal with her cuddly, black-patched eyes would make an excellent logo. This has helped to encourage many people to help support the panda. Controversially, a well-known television presenter called Chris Packham, who has hosted programs about animals for many years on British TV, said pandas might not be worth saving. He explained that pandas are extraordinarily expensive to support. We spend millions and millions of pounds on this one species, but much less on others. He argues that it would be better to take all this money we spend on pandas and look after other natural places, such as rainforests around the world. He says that we have to accept that some animals are stronger than others. The panda is a bear that eats a type of food that isn't very nutritious. It gets diseases easily, and it is very difficult to breed. He thinks that extinction is very much a part of life on Earth. and we're going to have to get used to it in the next few years because climate change is going to result in all sorts of animals disappearing. However, I don't agree with Chris Packham. The panda is quite a weak animal, but this is not why it is going to die or become extinct. When he says that if you leave them be, they will die out, that is simply not true. The reason it is in danger is because of the damage that humans are doing to the forest that they live in. If we don't destroy this, then they will survive in the same way that they have for thousands of years. And also, the places where the pandas live should be protected anyway. The panda shares its home with the red panda, golden monkeys, and various birds that are found nowhere else in the world. The pandas' numbers are increasing in the wild, so I don't see them dying out. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed my short talk on pandas. Are there any questions?
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Section 3.
Good morning. Are we all here? Good. In today's seminar, we're going to hear a presentation from 2 students. The schedule says it's Blair and John. Are you both ready?
Yes, Professor, we're ready. Shall we begin?
Yes, please, Blair.
Well, John and I are going to talk about the flower industry in Kenya.
The flower industry in Kenya?
Oh yes, Kenya's horticultural sector currently ranks as a foreign exchange earner, is one of the economy's fastest growing industries, the 3rd largest earner after tourism and tea.
The industry has been growing every year. The industry rose 31% over the last 5 years, with total exports reaching 130,000 tons per annum.
How did the industry begin there? It doesn't sound like a traditional Kenyan industry.
No, the history of the export of fresh horticultural produce from Kenya dates back to the period before independence, when Kenya, then a British colony, was required to help out with the running of the budget for East Africa.
After independence, the industry continued to thrive, with exports starting to go to Europe and thus opening up the potential for Kenya in the export market.
Is Kenya's climate particularly suitable for growing flowers?
Yes, although Kenya is on the equator, considerable differences in altitude allow a great variety of climates, from the hot coastal plain up to the cool highlands. A temperate climate prevails above 1,500 meters, where daytime temperatures are from 22 to 30 degrees Celsius, and at night time from 6 to 12 degrees Celsius.
Rainy days are restricted to 60 to 80 days, so there's excellent radiation most of the year, which is ideal for the year-round growing of quality flowers without the necessity of greenhouse conditions.
Kenya has enjoyed economically advantageous as well. Kenyan companies have long benefited from favourable exchange rates, making their costs in Kenyan shillings and US dollars relatively low.
The Kenyans have also set up an excellent logistics infrastructure. Nairobi, the capital city, is a major hub and is very well served by major airlines and charter operators, giving easy air freight access to European markets and from there to the rest of the world.
And labour and energy costs are low compared to other countries. A further advantage for Kenya is that the industry still pays no import duty when sending its flowers to Europe.
How has the industry affected the ordinary people in Kenya?
Pretty well. In the agricultural sector, floriculture in Kenya is the 2nd largest foreign exchange earner after tea, bringing in more than $250 million US dollars per annum. Of course, this doesn't all go to the man on the street, but it creates a lot of taxes that contribute to Kenya's public economy.
The industry does employ a lot of ordinary people, though, with 50 to 70,000 people directly employed and more than 1.5 million indirectly employed. Professor, it seems like an ideal situation for Kenya with no problematic areas.
It's not perfect, and some years haven't been easy. For example, there have been problems with workforce disputes which have not yet been wholly resolved.
Some years as well have had problems, as high oil prices negatively affected transportation fees. There have also been years when, in spite of the excellent climate, there were heavy rains or extended drought, which negatively affected the size of the crop at those times.
What about competition?
Most competition comes from countries that, like Kenya, lie on or near the equator. The 4 leading global competitors in terms of value are the Netherlands, Colombia, Ecuador, and Ethiopia. These countries compete every year.
What's causing the increase in competition?
It's partly due to stagnating demand, but it's also a result of the growing number of large flowered roses and the generally improving quality of other countries' products.
Hasn't there been some criticism of the sustainability of the industry?
Yes, although things have improved, wages are significantly below a living wage, leaving workers and their families with limited or no disposable income.
One of the biggest ongoing criticisms is about water usage. The water footprint of one rose flower is estimated to be 7 to 13 litres. The total virtual water export related to the removal of cut flowers from the area where the flowers have been grown has been colossal. The water leaves the country and the continent, and it's not easily replaced.
This has caused an observed decline in the levels of local lakes and a deterioration of the lake's biodiversity.
There is also a problem with pollution in the large lakes that supply water for industry. Initially, everyone blamed the large producers, but it seems that the commercial farms around the lake have contributed to the decline in the lake level through water pollution.
How can this be addressed?
There have been calls for sustainable management of the basin through charging water at its full cost and other regulatory measures, but any change in prices has been resisted, and there are a variety of political and tribal barriers to getting legislation passed and enforced.
Are there any other downsides to the Kenyan flower industry?
Yes, there have been some criticisms of outdated farm methods. However, more farms are increasingly looking into organic methods of pest control, and those farms that have implemented water recycling and waste disposal systems have found that they are able to decrease overall costs in the long run.
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Section 4. Lecture on Cotton. Hello everyone. Today in this agriculture lecture, we're going to look at the background of one of our most important clothing materials in the United States, cotton. No one knows exactly how old cotton is. Scientists searching caves in Mexico found bits of cotton and pieces of cotton cloth that proved to be at least 7,000 years old. They also found that the cotton itself was much like that grown in America today. The cotton belt spans the southern half of the United States, from Virginia to California. Cotton is grown in 17 states and is a major crop in 14 of those states. The cotton growing process begins with planting. Planting is accomplished with 6, 8, 10, or 12 row precision planting of the seeds at uniform depths and intervals. Young cotton seedlings emerge from the soil within a week or two after planting, depending on the temperature and moisture conditions. The growing process can be threatened in different ways. Cotton grows slowly in the spring and can be shaded out easily by weeds. If weeds begin to overpower the seedling cotton, drastic reductions in yield can result. Producers employ close cultivation and plant the cottonseed deep into moist soil, leaving weed seeds in high and dry soil. Herbicides control weeds between the rows. The cotton plant has evolved with numerous damaging insects, and these insects, if left unattended, would virtually eliminate the harvestable crop in most cotton-producing areas. Plants infested by the leaf-feeding insects are able to counteract somewhat by growing increased numbers of leaves. Many cotton-feeding insects, however, feed on the cotton itself. This reduces the yield and leads to delays in crop development, often into the frost or rainy season. Plant protection chemicals are often used to prevent devastating crop losses by insects. All plant protection methods used on plants in the U.S. are thoroughly evaluated by the Environmental Protection Agency to assure food safety and protection to humans, animals, and to the environment. Some plants are also improved by modern biotechnology, which causes the plants to be resistant to certain damaging worms. The cotton plant's root system is very efficient at seeking moisture and nutrients from the soil. From an economic standpoint, cotton's water use efficiency allows cotton to generate more revenue per gallon of water than any other major field crop. Most of the U.S. cotton acreage is grown only on rain moisture, but a trend towards supplemental irrigation to carry a field through drought has increased in acreage and helped stabilize yields. Harvesting is one of the final steps in the production of cotton crops. The crop must be harvested before weather can damage or completely ruin its quality and reduce yield. Cotton is harvested by machines in the U.S., beginning in July in South Texas, and in October, and in more northern areas of the cotton growing area. Stripper harvesters, used chiefly in Texas and Oklahoma, have rollers or mechanical brushes that remove the whole cotton bud from the plant. In the rest of the cotton producing areas, spindle pickers are used. These cotton pickers pull the cotton from the open buds using revolving barbed spindles that entwine the fiber and release it after it has been separated. From the field, seed cotton moves to nearby gins for separation of lint and seed. The cotton then goes through dryers to reduce moisture content and then through cleaning equipment to remove foreign matter. Cotton is then moved to a warehouse for storage until it is shipped to a textile mill for use. Cotton is ready for sale after the quality parameters for each bale have been established. Growers usually sell their cotton to a local buyer or merchant after it has been ginned and baled, but if they decide against immediate sale, they can store. Since it is a non-perishable crop, cotton stored in a government-approved warehouse provides a secure basis for a monetary loan. An often overlooked component of the crop is the vast amount of cottonseed that is produced along with the fiber. Cotton is actually two crops, fiber and seed. Annual cottonseed production is about 6.5 billion tons. This seed is crushed, producing a high-grade salad oil and a rich protein feed for livestock. One key aspect of this growing process is the management of pests. The most common way of treating pests is by aerial disbursement of pesticides. A crop dusting plane flies low over the crops and sprays the cotton with the pesticides that are in a holding tank under each wing. A careful spraying schedule and pattern should be created, and the cotton farmer must therefore have very careful notes on sowing and growing information. The pesticides are squirted straight down from the spray nozzles on the plane. The angle is important. If the spray is sent forwards in the direction of the plane's flight, the droplets will become too fine and be carried away in the wind or in the slipstream of the plane. Some of the pesticides, of course, will hit the right crop, but some will be untouched. This creates further problems as the farmer will not know which areas are treated and which are not. Retreating may result in too much pesticide on an already treated area, but not retreating may affect crop yields. If the spray is sent backwards from the spray nozzles with regards to the direction of the plane's flight, the droplets will be too coarse, which will also create uneven results. A straight down release creates the optimum medium fine droplet spray sheet. That is the end of the listening test.